Wow. How you doing?
I'm all right, man. I'm
We
hanging in there.
live and alive, guys.
Live and
So,
alive. All your
so
come
yo,
in.
what do I need to do? Do I need to go? Am I live
No,
on
you're
my
good.
phone?
You're good. You're good.
You're
Okay.
good? He's good. I'm good. We all good?
Yep, I think we all
Pro-
good.
Producer extraordinaire over here. All right, bro. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Hey, Big Sean,
What's
a
up,
water
man?
shirt for you. A water shirt to
Oh
show
yeah,
respect for the
yeah, yeah,
podcast.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah,
showing
yeah.
respect for the podcast soul, man.
Hey yo, hey yo,
What's up?
I miss going up there to the 24th floor, man. Hey, yo,
Man, I can't lie. In Trinidad we have this thing called Carnival Tabanca, right? Which just means that you get sick after carnival time, like after the festival, and you had like 2 months of just partying and just celebrating and 4 straight days off. And then after that you just get a low vibe. That's exactly what I feel, man.
yo, that was crazy, man. I remember when I was going, I was like, yo, this shit every day coming over here doing this, man. But it was historic, man. To be a part of that was historic. I mean that case is it's historic because everybody's talking about that still to this day.
Yeah, and I think that one of the biggest differences between this and the OJ trial is the OJ trial you can actually see it. You could go back, you could see the footage, you could hear the audio, you could see the witnesses, you could see the inflections of their voice, everything like that. This is different. You can't see anything. And you just have to guess. So the handful of people like you or I that were there, the handful of people that were there, those people are the only people in the history of the world that will ever be able to see that.
Exactly, exactly. And so many people now want to speak from a position like they know what was going on, and motherfucker, you wasn't even there. You wasn't
Exactly.
there not one day, not one day. And
Exactly.
you want to speak so matter of factly about
Right.
what it is you saw and what you heard, and it's I'm just glad I went, man. I'm glad I was there.
I don't think I've ever asked you this. All the times I've seen you at the trial and we've had conversations, what brought you there? Like, what was the reason that you decided to even go in the first place?
Well, I was already covering the Big Meech Cuffy
I remember
trial,
that. Hmm.
and you know I had got some good feedback from that one, and I said, you know what, when this Puffy thing kicks off, I'm gonna cover the Puffy joint too, and
Right.
I said, since I'm right here, I said I'm gonna go over there, and I went over there, and the rest is history, man.
Yeah, 100%, man. One of the best decisions you made. I was actually traveling in Panama at the time because I spent a lot of time in Panama as well. And yeah, I came back early for that trial.
You and I had spoke. I think we had spoke like a week or maybe that first week of the trial.
The first week of the trial we spoke, that was the week that I came back from Panama,
Okay.
the first week, and I arrived at the trial in the second week. So I actually want to lean on you a lot with this live because I missed the Cassie actual testimony. I was just reading the transcripts. So I missed the Cassie exact testimony. So you're gonna have to fill in the blanks for what it felt like, her tonality, when she paused, when she didn't pause, like that kind of stuff, because I wouldn't know. I wasn't there.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Cool. Cool.
Yeah. But we got to get into this lie suit, man. I don't call it a lawsuit anymore. I gotta
Nice.
call this a lie suit.
Yeah,
It's a
that's a good
lie
one.
suit, bro.
Nice. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. Yo, this dude Doug Wigdor, man, I'm on him, man, because looking at everything now, it was his bullshit ass civil suit that set the undertone for the whole thing, man. You know what I'm
100%.
saying? And here's the civil suit. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Here it is. For those of y'all that
All
want to
was it 36 pages, right? 36 pages we got.
35 pages. And on
35 pages.
page 19, is where the bullshit starts. Paragraph 102.
Exactly.
And he's kind of escaped YouTube floodlight, but now we bringing it to him.
Listen, man, the thing is with the lawsuit, I believe the problem is this started as a story, as a fairy tale, because she was writing a book, right? So, and for those of y'all just filing in, I do want you guys to, as we go through this lawsuit today, because we are going to go through the pages. C got the lawsuit up. He's going to highlight a few things we could talk about. But as we're going through the lawsuit, I do want everybody to know this thing was all a fairy tale to begin with. Now, was it a fairy tale based on true events? Yes, but it was fabricated to begin with. So the lawsuit started out based on the book that she was writing that she tried to sell to Puff, and he told her go and kick rocks, right? So a lot of this stuff is just as you read the lawsuit. Tell me if you saw this, Big Sean. When you were reading the lawsuit, did you not feel like, yeah, this could have been a book? Like they added extra things.
When I was reading the civil suit,
Yeah, the civil lawsuit.
did I feel like what?
You were reading a book, like a novel or a story.
No, I felt like when I read this shit, it came across to me as a overzealous lawyer just putting the lighter fluid and gasoline on something and throwing a match on it to get Puffy to just settle and cave in like he did.
So yeah, and he did.
Like
Yeah, less than 24
he
hours.
pretty much had to.
Now, the reason why I say that it read like a book is, for example, there was parts of it that said he walks out in a robe. And it's like, why are you telling us what he's wearing? Like, I don't know any lawsuit that tells you what they're wearing unless what they're wearing has anything to do with what we're suing for. But they tried to, a lot of it was painting a picture. But my question to you is then, do you think this lawsuit is more the lawyer or Cassie? If you had to guess, because I know we don't know, right? But if you had to guess, what would you say? Like, how did this come about?
It's
Did
both.
she approach a lawyer? The lawyer approach her? What was your guess?
It's both, because he's gonna probably get 30%. He probably walked away with 30% of the 20 million or whatever his commission was.
Exactly.
And he saw it, he saw it as an opportunity. She was broke. She had moved back into her mother's crib in Connecticut. So they both looked at it that way.
Yeah, I feel like I feel like he approached her. That's definitely what I feel like. I feel like he approached her. He heard about the book. He approached her. I don't think that she necessarily, quote unquote, went to a lawyer, but I don't know. So let's get into it. Let's start right there. I was watching it live earlier. Let's start right there because you made some great points with the balcony incident and all that. So see, let's start right there just so we can reference the point in the lawsuit. If you don't mind, read it real quick. Just that little part. They just make mention of it real quick.
On page 19?
I think it's page 19 or 20.
Yeah,
you got it there, see?
Page 19, paragraph 102.
Yeah, I got it. Just give me a second.
Yeah, you got it.
Paragraph 19, page 102. How could Cassie go back to a hotel room she was staying in and she was in New York with Puff?
And balcony girl said it was her crib.
Right. Brianna lied and said it was at Cassie's apartment. And her and Cassie, Nicole Westmoreland, brought it out that her and Cassie were texting each other 30 minutes before she got on the stand. Before Brianna got on the stand. And Deontay Nash, hey, Deontay. Hey, girl. Hey, Deontay.
That's crazy. All right, before I read
Yo.
it, I want to shout out everybody on Sean G's side, everybody on our side. Welcome, guys. Shout out to our regulars, Mark Jag, all of them.
Yo,
Yeah.
Sean, come here.
Yeah, how do I even look at this?
Look. Come here. Say what's up to the people. Say what's up.
Yo,
What's going on? Lil Sean, what's going on, big man?
what's up?
Hey.
Let's look at paragraph 103.
I got it pulled up.
The next one over. Yeah, 102 is highlighted, but let's start with 103.
The freak offs became work for Cassie.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Why don't you stop, man? And despite her protestations, which there were none, Mr. Combs insisted on these intricately staged and forced sexual encounters between men. Yo, this shit, and all of the male workers that are doing interviews now on these different YouTube platforms are debunking this whole path. And see, the lawyer, Cassie wouldn't know how to word this. That lawyer did that. Doug Wigdor worded this like that. This is his work.
Right.
And you knowingly lied. And as an officer of the court and as a member of the New York Bar, he has a responsibility, an attorney duty. He has a duty to somewhat do a cursory investigation and try to corroborate something of what this girl is saying. But he said, we're going to get Puff to settle this overnight. And that's what they got.
And that's what now I believe that Puff settled with her because he knew about the domestic violence, and that was the main thing. But what they did here is they used the S trafficking. They used the word multiple times in this lawsuit. Yeah, and I think he wasn't. If he knew that this was going to go down this way, he would have just fought it in court. You agree?
Well, you got to look at the time, right? So the criminal investigation hasn't come down. He's still doing business as Bad Boy. He's still doing business as Revolt TV. He's still maybe doing business with Diageo, I think. He's still making money. So $20 million to him with his ongoing concern is not small potatoes. It's a big piece of money, but it's money that he'll recoup.
You recoup, yeah.
In a year, 2 years. All right, motherfucker. You want to come this here? Take this money. Now get on out of here. But what he didn't know and what he could never have anticipated would be that Damian Williams would come with the criminal indictment after, and then the floodgates of Tony Busby and Courtney Burgess and Ariel. No one could have foresaw that, right? So his thing is, let me put this fire out, move on with my life, and be done with it. And it didn't go that way.
And it didn't go that way.
My opinion.
Yeah, I think the domestic violence he knew happened. He knew it happened. Yeah, he knew it happened. Where do you think they got the tape from? Because on my live a few days ago, actually, I think it was just last week.
Probably
a few days ago on my live.
Probably
you think so? Because I think they got it from his crib. Yeah, the one, but that was the screen recording. But when we were in the court, we saw the actual video, and we saw all the angles of the cameras. So I feel like when they raided his crib, that's where they got the actual tape from.
I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine.
Yeah, because we never heard of it until after the raid. Once they had the raid, that's when we heard of it.
But
so that's my thing.
The dude that was a security guard at the hotel, who became an LA cop later, was the one that Edwin Garcia, they didn't want to get him involved because they knew he would be like, nah.
Because they knew he would, exactly. I have that in my notes.
He recorded the shit before they could delete it.
And I don't think that he did that for his wife because he wanted to show his wife because she wouldn't believe. I
That's
think that
what
he
they
did that
said in
because
court.
that's what he said in court, but I don't believe him.
Yeah.
And
So
this leads me to another point. This leads me to another point. I know we don't have the footage, see, but because we don't want to smoke with all these podcasts, but there's a lot of podcasts, a lot of people who said, and I quote, once we saw the video, it told us the lawsuit was true. As if, as if, Big Sean, you can't lie and tell the truth and then lie a little bit and then tell the truth and then lie a little bit. Since when do we live in a world that everything that somebody says is true and everything they say is a lie? Cassie lied a little bit and she said a little bit of the truth and she lied a little bit on the stand. Just because some of the statements were true or just because we saw the domestic violence in the video, how does that mean that everything else that she said in the lawsuit is true? What world do we live in? That's my biggest thing. I don't believe you.
Listen, Jay, man, to me, man, the way I'm getting down with this thing, if I didn't see you at the courthouse, it ain't really shit you can say to me.
Right.
There's nothing you can say. Everything that you're talking about is pure speculation, and you coming purely from emotion. And wherever you're getting your information from, most likely they wasn't there either. If you were a human being and you were on the 24th floor in the overflow, or if you were in 26th floor in the main courtroom, there's no way you can come out of that courtroom unless you're just going to disregard facts and the truth and testimony and say all this other shit. You know what I'm saying? I just can't see it.
I think that's the thing that a lot of people don't understand too, is that what there's some things that I look at my notes at and I don't even remember that that actually happened. But because I'm taking notes, it reminded me. So not only were you not there, but also you don't have notes, and also you're now trying to make a buck on whatever podcast you're on or whatever radio show you're on, and you're just talking out of your I don't want to say out of your ass, but you talking out of your ass.
You hate Puff. 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 You've been hypnotized and groomed, coerced, like I was for the last 36 months, 48 months, to believe that he was gay, that he was a pedophile, that he was, that he was guilty of trafficking. I believed it too. And what made me disbelieve it and know that it was all a lie is I went to the trial,
Exactly.
saw the testimony,
Exactly.
and heard the cross-examination, saw the direct examinations. And I came away and said, man, this was all lies. But if you didn't have that experience, you're going to look at Sean G, you're going to look at the podcast from Soul, you're going to look at Conversations with Jay and say, these niggas is just on Puffy's job. That's it. You just hate Puff, and that's fine. You know what I'm saying? If that's
There
what
was nobody, bro. There was nobody that went to the trial that said, I feel like he's innocent. And then said, when I got there, I realized he was guilty. But there are a number of people that went there and said, I feel like he's guilty. And then changed their story and said, no, actually, this is all a hoax.
ain't no question.
So, yeah, there's not one person. Somebody find a person. Somebody find a person that went there and said, yo, this guy is innocent and I'm going to go and prove his innocence, and then change the story and say, yo, actually, he's guilty. Not one person. But there is a number of people that started changing their story. And the longer that trial went on, the more you actually started feeling sorry for the dude. Not only innocent, but you also started feeling like, damn, like they doing you like that? Like the longer it went on, the worse it was for the prosecution.
Yo, could you imagine this nigga, man, sitting in the chair, paying buku money for these lawyers, and sitting and watching people that he know on the witness stand tell the courtroom that he hung them off of a 17th floor balcony, and he know it didn't happen, and that if the jury somehow believes this bullshit, he's going to prison for life. That shit is crazy, man.
It's crazy. Let's get into that because that was in Cassie's lawsuit. You go ahead. See, you wanna contribute one thing real quick?
Well, I was actually gonna ask if you guys wanted to start from the beginning of the whole civil suit, and then we just identify some inconsistencies and some contradictory stuff that were made mention in the lawsuit and what was actually said in court.
I'm down. Let's do it, man.
Whatever you want to do, go ahead.
All right, let's pull it up. All right. So the parts that are highlighted in blue are the parts that are questionable,
Are
and
questionable.
the parts that are red or pink are the parts that were complete, that were contradicted.
They're all cap.
Yeah.
I just want to talk about these questionable ones real quick. So
Yeah.
you see this in number 3, it says Mr. Combs was held down. Cassie was held down by Mr. Combs. She couldn't get up. She was held down and endured over a decade of his violent behavior and disturbed demands. So Sean G was in court. Sean G heard when Cassie asked the guy to urinate on her. The guy said, she said, have you urinated on somebody before? I'm going to be your first golden shower, all this stuff. So why is it his violent behavior and disturbed demands? That seems like it's her disturbed demand. That part's questionable to me.
Yeah.
And then it says, the dark times were those she spent trapped. This lady left anytime she wanted. She blocked his whole team when she was in South Africa. She left him multiple times. She cheated on him with Cuddy. She left him for the trainer. She was with the football player. She was trapped. She seemed like she was wilding to me.
Listen,
and then they have, go ahead.
She was carrying on relations with Jules. You know what I'm saying? She was meeting with these when Puffy wasn't around. She was getting with these escorts on her own. Clayton Howard, all of them are saying it. And all of this shit.
All the escorts.
I had this girl. I had her like this innocent, suburban girl, naive, and this girl was far from that, man. This girl was far from that. She was fucking them niggas when she wanted to, on her own.
Correct. That's correct. On her own. And I saw an interview with one of the escorts said that he stopped taking her calls and messages because she was hitting him when Puff was out of the country. And he said, Puff is a powerful man, and I didn't want that smoke.
Yeah, yeah. Listen, man, I'm just so glad that Puffy beat that case, man. I can't even.
What do you think?
I can't even begin to tell you how happy I am that he beat that case, man. And the nigga deserved to win. He deserved to beat it. He played fair. The Southern District of New York, they cheated from the word say go all the way up to the end, man. They never stopped cheating. They never stopped.
What do you think about? But what they even cheated. I don't mean to interrupt you, but they even cheated to get the charges that they even got.
This wasn't. He wasn't facing a 2-year sentence or a 5-year sentence. He was facing life without the possibility of parole, total asset forfeiture, taking your catalog, taking your house in 2-Star Island in Miami, taking the house in LA, taking the plane, breaking your family, putting you in the Salvation Army, starving out your daughters, and we're going to cheat to do it. And we're going to use perjured fucking federal court documents that shit is insane, man.
It's insane, bro.
And he beat it.
Bro. My thing is, I feel like he should first of all, obviously he should be out on bail right now. but I don't think that he should have been convicted for the Mann Act. You think he should have been convicted for the Mann Act?
Well, they had him busted. They had him dead to the right on that because they had the credit card, the American Express credit card statements and the text messages between Jessica Ruiz, who was his travel manager, and Jane Doe, you know what I'm saying, arranging to fly them niggas across state line. Now, that was, you know what I'm saying, the jury, I guess they felt like, damn, we can't ignore that. You know what I'm saying?
My thing has always been the same though, bro. My thing has been the same. My thing has been I can fly anybody out that I want to. If they're getting paid either way, whether they decide to engage in this or not, then it's not paying for them to have sex. It's not. Like you're getting paid either way.
Yeah, well, I hear you. But the nigga was a customer. He didn't even, and we talking about dudes. He didn't have sex with the dudes. He hired males to come and have sex with his lady so he could sit back and chill.
Exactly.
And film. Put your leg up on the dresser.
How much safer can you be?
Jump off the couch and touch the chandelier, and then Cassie, you do a backflip. That's what he was doing.
Bro, what is the difference between what he was doing and an adult film director?
Listen, I done sat and watched porn with my lady. We didn't watch porn together. You understand? And me and her done filmed us together. Right? Her consent, my consent. If that's what we want to do. But they wanted Puff. They wanted Puff. They wanted that Rico, man. They wanted that Rico, man.
That's what they really wanted.
And
That's what they really wanted.
He beat it. Everybody thought he was gonna get convicted of Rico. I was even nervous. After that girl gave that closing argument on that Thursday, Slavic, I said, damn, man.
Well, Slavic laid it out with all the main facts as if she was reading from something like this.
Right.
One of the things that is a pet peeve of mine with this entire trial, and shout out to everybody who's filed in, is that it says that he blew up a man's car after he learned that he was romantically interested in Miss Ventura. If this is not like every part of this is a lie.
It's a lie.
Every part of this is a lie.
It's a lie.
What car blew up? First of all, no car blew up. There was a little bit of a fire in the driver's seat, or it might have been the passenger seat. There was no car that blew up. That's a lie. So no car blew up. So that's a lie. After he learned he was romantically interested in Miss Ventura, or after he learned that she was being cheated, that he was being cheated on. And then also, who said that he had anything to do with this fire? Like all of this is lies.
He wasn't even there.
Is the female DNA on the Molotov cocktail?
Exactly. No eyewitness, no photos, no video footage of a well-to-do Los Angeles neighborhood of a major star like Kid Cudi. He's gonna have cameras everywhere. Puffy nowhere around. And Doug Whitdore was supposed to again exercise restraint and professionalism and do his due diligence and corroborate what this girl said. But that wasn't his thing. He said, we're going to go for 20 million. I'm going to take 10%, 15, 20%, and you're going to take the rest. And she was like, bet.
Look at this one. Demanded that Miss Ventura demanded that she carry a firearm in her purse just to make her uncomfortable and demonstrate how dangerous he was. Yo, if they don't go and sit down somewhere, this is crazy.
I didn't hear that testimony.
That testimony was never there. There is a time that she did carry a gun in her purse, but according to what I remember from the testimony that I read, because remember I wasn't there for Cassie's testimony. According to the testimony I read, it was a security guard that asked her to put the gun in her purse and not Puff. Number one, and number two, it wasn't to intimidate her. It was because they were trying to have protection in the club that they were going into.
Yeah, I
Like
don't know. I
all
don't
this
remember
is stuff
that part.
introduced Miss Ventura to a lifestyle of excessive alcohol. Scroll that up a little bit, see? Introduced Miss Ventura to a lifestyle of excessive alcohol and what?
Substance.
Substance abuse. Yeah.
She's already
When
getting
Ryan Leslie, exactly. When Ryan Leslie met her, he said that she was standing on a table dancing in the club.
She was already
Yeah, she
getting
was
high.
doing that with no substance. Exactly. She was doing that with no substances. She just was feeling the music. She's just very soulful.
Yeah.
Also, wasn't she 16 at that time?
Nah, she wasn't no 16.
She was
She
like
was like,
17, I think. When
17.
Ryan
oh,
Leslie was
when
dating her, I think
oh,
she was
okay.
around.
I don't know about
Yeah,
that part.
Mm.
That was when she
yeah,
was messing with Ryan Leslie?
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I don't know nothing about that part.
yeah.
I
Like
feel
a
like
lot of there's so much rise.
I
Like,
feel
go
like
ahead.
one of the most obvious lies in this whole thing was how they started it out. They said, among other violent and unlawful acts, Mr. Combs raped Miss Ventura in her own home after she tried to leave. First off, we had
Oh, bro.
Mark Agnifilo. He ripped that whole thing apart, and I can pull it up too
Yo,
and read
can
the
you pull that up, please? Yeah,
yeah.
read Mark Agnifilo's closing statements where he destroyed this whole entire narrative that Cassie was raped. And notice it's the first thing that they say, right? That's how they try to get everybody's attention. Read that for us, real quick. See that Mark Agnifilo was a master at that. He was a master at breaking that down. How foolish that nonsense was.
She let Puffy hit it, man, because the dude was calling. The personal trainer was trying to FaceTime her.
She let him hit it. She changed the dates 3 times.
She's a liar, man.
Here it
Yep.
is. So, and this is in Mark Agnifilo's closing statement. He says, Cassie said that there was grape, that Sean Combs raped her. I'm going to show you why that didn't happen, okay? But also equally important, it's not charged. It's just not part of the S trafficking. It's not a commercial S act. It's not an alleged act of prostitution. It's a horrible, horrible thing if it happened, but let me show you why it didn't. This
No, it
other
didn't.
no, that's true. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah, he
the
said this other.
transcript. So then he goes straight to the transcript and he reads the transcript with her exact testimony. So for all of you guys that said that you believe everything that Cassie said and she couldn't have been lying, just listen up because she lied about this.
She lied.
And this is the worst that she lied. And this is the worst thing that you could lie on a man to say that he took it from you. That's the worst thing that you could do, to lie on a man and say he took it from you.
Yeah.
And listen to how much of a lie this is. Go ahead.
This other transcript, and this is at page 850 at the bottom. That's what he was referencing. He said, question, you describe how Sean was acting at the dinner. And Cassie was saying, he was just being really nice, playful, laughing, kind of romantic vibe, sort of, but we just were normal laughing. And then they asked, how did the dinner end? She said, it ended with him bringing me home, and yeah, that was it. Okay.
Pause. If you got graped, why would you say it ended with him bringing me home? And yeah, that was it. Wouldn't it be in your head? It wouldn't be, yeah, that was it. It would be, yeah, and then he took it.
They made her say that. The prosecutors made her say that because she came out that last Friday when she testified the last day in the second half of the day. She came out and said, oh, I felt like a sex worker. Just pull that shit out the air because that was coming back after the lunch break. And they said, yo, you got to say this when we say this.
Yep.
So Mark Agnifilo continues by saying, okay, let's just stop right there for a second. This is a night she was supposedly raped Okay. And her first answer right here in this courtroom to you, it ended with me bringing him home. And yeah, that was it. Like, did she miss a prompt? Was she supposed to talk about it,
When
or
he said
did
that, when he said that, the whole courtroom, you could ask Sean G was there too. Yo, you could ask anybody who was in the courtroom. When he said, "Did she miss a prompt?" That's exactly what happened. That's why everybody chuckled. And then your girl TT, do you love me? You know your girl TT, Big Sean. She was like, oh, he was their friend and he had them cracking up. You know when you laugh because it's true. You know you laugh because it's like
Yeah.
it's true. Like Dave Chappelle, you hear Dave Chappelle or Chris Rock, and they just have a funny joke because it's actually true. That's exactly why everybody laughed right there. Because they were like, yeah, why would she just say, oh, I was supposed to say at this time that he raped me.
Right.
Oh, this is when I was supposed to say that. So she corrects herself. Originally she says, oh yeah, and he took me home and that was it. And then, did you miss a prompt? No, hello. And then they ask her again, and then she says it.
Yo, could you imagine, man, being there sitting in trial as a defendant and a person that you helped and you trusted is on the stand saying something like that about you and you facing life without the possibility of parole? That's crazy, man.
Bro, and I think everybody in the chat, I think you, myself, C included, I think we've had people lie on us before. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? People lie on us before and just say something that they know isn't true, we know isn't true, and they're telling people boldface in front of all of us that this happened and it's not true. And my point is, our lives weren't on the line when they were lying on us a lot of the times. In this case, this guy's life is on the line and he has to watch somebody that he felt like was his ride or die, because he did say that in one of the messages. You were my ride or die, you were this or that. So somebody you once thought that this was your ride or die, now you have to listen to them just lying on you.
All of them. Mia was down with him. He helped Mia, Jane
Hmm.
Doe,
Yep.
Dawn Richard, all.
Don't forget Capricorn Clark. Capricorn
Capricorn
Clark
Clark,
described herself as I was Puff's protector, she said.
witness after witness is up there. Man, that nigga, man. Listen, you got to give a man credit because a lot of people would have had a stroke or a heart attack behind what they went through. And the same thing with the guy who is the president of the United States to have 150 lawsuits filed against you, and you don't have a stroke or a heart attack from the stress. It's amazing. It's amazing. It's amazing. Nobody wants to look at that part because you hate Puff. If you hate
Yeah.
him, if you hating him, you saying fuck him. That's what you saying.
The fact.
And fuck the truth. I don't care. Let's break the law to convict Puff and give him life without the possibility of parole. But if I'm driving in town and I run a yellow light and it turns red while I'm in the middle of the street, or as I get through and I get a ticket, I'm gonna go to municipal court and call the cop a liar, call the camera a liar for a $150 ticket. But follow the law for me in my traffic ticket for $150. But for this nigga that's facing life without the possibility of parole, break all the laws you can, send him to prison. That shit is insane, man.
Yeah.
yeah.
And that's what the world, the puffy haters, that's the position they take.
And it's just strange that people hate somebody so much that they never met.
You know what? The media is very powerful, Jay. And then you got other rappers who are very influential, who are either intimidated by Puff or jealous of Puff, putting out things. You know what I'm saying? And then
Right.
the mainstream media, and if you're not doing no research and this is your primary source of information, you're gonna be jaded to hate them too.
Yeah, that's wild, man. I wasn't honestly, this trial made me actually more of a Puff fan than because I wasn't really like that old at the time that Puff was at his pinnacle. So I was still like 12, 13, 14 years old. But bro, I was like, yo, this whole record label, everything he was doing, man was never behind in his taxes. He built a multi-layer business. He had a lot of well-educated people, the best people running a lot of the business. This man was a true businessman.
You best believe the IRS went in there first before anybody.
Oh, of course, because that would have been the easiest charge.
Exactly. And they came out and says, "Yo, this nigga's books is clean."
Yep.
All right, well, let's try something else. Let's try something else. And he beat it. And he
100%.
lied.
All right, see, let's continue through this bad boy.
Yeah.
Give me a pun intended, by the way, bad boy.
One of the interesting things that that I noticed with this whole wording of this whole lawsuit was it kind of does sound like a story. I feel so. We highlighted this part. There's this part right here, and it just Jay. I want you to talk about this some more because I know you said that this it was contradicting. But let's go ahead. Says he signed her to his label Bad Boy Records, and within a few years, lured Miss Ventura into an ostentatious, fast-paced, and drug-fueled lifestyle, and into a romantic relationship with him, her boss, one of the most powerful men in the entertainment industry, and a vicious, cruel, and controlling man nearly 2 decades her senior. Mr. Combs asserted complete control over Miss Ventura's personal and professional life, thereby ensuring her inability to escape his hold.
Yeah, this reminds me of Cap and Ass Torre. This reminds me of the whole how does he say, what he said? The whole record deal was a trap.
Right.
All right, let me ask you something. If you were living on the street and I bring you into my home and I say you can go into any bedroom, any room on this floor, but don't go upstairs. You're not allowed upstairs. You're only allowed between these rooms. How is that me holding you back? How is that a trap? You were on the street. You know what I'm saying? She was with Ryan Leslie. Compared to Puff, that's like being homeless.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? She went and she signed a record deal because Puff could do more than her than she was currently having. And that's what she decided. So what do you mean it's a trap and he's trapping her and his music and he's holding her down for success? You weren't successful without this man in the first place.
And listen, he put her out there. He really was going to make her a star, but from what everybody said, she wasn't that good.
Everybody said that. Capricorn Clark said that. Deontay Nash said that. Mia said that. Everybody said that she either wasn't that good, she
Even
wasn't a
Puffy.
hard worker. She was like, even Puff said that. She wasn't that good. That's why I told Torre, I said she had no talent. What do you want the man to do? Pull another rabbit out the hat?
And I love that Sean G said that because there's a part right here that I highlighted in purple that I wanted to talk about a little bit more. And it said, he provided unprecedented avenues for success for the aspiring artist, but in return demanded obedience, loyalty, and silence. If you listen to a lot of these content creators and what these media platforms were saying, is that he limited her potential, that she could have done way better if he wasn't involved. Torre was saying the same stuff, saying, oh, there were so many albums that she was supposed to be releasing, but he limited all that and he was controlling her life. Then so it's like, if he provided all these, how are you saying that? But then they're saying in the lawsuit that he provided all these avenues for success. I thought he was limiting her potential.
Exactly. They're talking out of both sides of their mouth.
Puffy got Cassie on 106 in Park, and she bombed. If she would have blew up right there, you know what I'm saying, then 3 or 4 albums would have followed, right? Because why wouldn't he want to make money? And he could still
Exactly.
He could still be hitting it while she's making money, right? She did records. Puffy set her up to do records with Rick Ross, Wiz Khalifa, Kid Cudi,
Lil Wayne.
Lil Wayne, you know, French Montana, I think.
French Montana as well.
How do you get next to these kind of people? And it came out at the trial that she had the largest budget of any bad boy artist while she was there. She had the most money. But
if he was using a record deal to try to trap her, why would she have the largest budget?
Exactly.
And then do you remember Capricorn Clark's testimony when Capricorn Clark said, I told her to leave Cassie. I think it was Capricorn Clark, or is it the other one? The one that starts with an M. I forgot her name. But I think it was Capricorn Clark. I told Cassie to leave Puff, and she said, where am I gonna go? Jay-Z's already taken. You remember that?
Yeah.
It was either Morgan or Capricorn Clark that said that in the trial. One or two. I got to look at my notes, but one of the two said. So she knew what it was. She knew that she was getting what she wanted from him. She obviously wasn't pulling her weight.
No. She had a Jaguar. She had an apartment in Manhattan and an apartment in LA.
Yeah.
Probably.
And one in Ibiza.
Huh?
And one in Ibiza.
In Ibiza?
Yeah, she had one in Ibiza as well.
Where's that?
Spain.
Really?
Yeah, she had one in Spain too. And
he probably had her as a additional authorized on his American Express account.
Exactly.
She could have got anything. She got anything you wanted. I'll take you to the red carpet. Let's go to the Met. Let's go to the Grammys. Come with me to the VMA. Come with me to the AMA. I'm going to expose you for being with the iconic me, and I'm trafficking you? Are you serious, man? This shit is crazy, man.
Yeah. So there's this other part in the lawsuit. Let me put it up for the.
What are they saying in the comment section? They saying anything in the comment section? I can't see.
Oh, Shanji, all you
see it either, yeah.
The side part that says comments, banners, media assets on the right side.
Let me see the comment section.
Oh, there you go. There you go. There you go.
Money make you money make you a freaking dog.
Queen for life.
Yo. Yo, this comment section is hilarious. Go ahead, see. I'm just reading the comments.
I have to admit something. I feel like reading this lawsuit has made me more interested to see what she said, like what she said in that book. I feel like if I could access that book, I would have if I could have read it. If you just, I'm gonna read this part, but it just sounds. I don't feel like a lawsuit. I haven't read many lawsuits, but I don't feel like a lawsuit really sounds this descriptive. It gets to the point. It references certain stuff, but it just gets straight to the point. But this is just like a story, man. Let's read this part.
They read it like a story.
Yeah. So throughout their relationship, Mr. Combs was prone to uncontrollable rage and frequently beat Miss Ventura savagely. These beatings were witnessed by Mr. Combs' staff and employees of Bad Boy Entertainment and Mr. Combs' related businesses, but no one dared to speak up against their frightening and ferocious boss. Following these episodes of horrific abuse, Mr. Combs would immediately attempt to hide Miss Ventura and evidence of his violent rage. He often showered her with gifts following incidents of physical abuse. A typical.
Yo, can you just stop? You can't keep going, bro. You can't keep going without me speaking. First of all, shout out to the one and only. The one and only says, guys, wake up. I'm alive and alive. I'm alive and alive. The one and only says, guys, wake up. Puffy is a terrible person and guilty AF. I'm gonna get to you in a second, bro. But I want to get to this. So did they expect, and I gave this example with C earlier. Let's say you work for a chef, right? Sorry, no, you work for a restaurant owner and you're a chef, right? And the restaurant owner mistreats his mistress, because that's what Cassie was. She was a mistress because Kim Porter was the main one at the time, okay? So the restaurant owner mistreats his mistress. Okay. You work for the restaurant owner. You're the chef. You're hired to be a chef. You're not hired to tell him, hey, you should treat your mistress better. Do your job and shut the hell up. So these people, he was ferocious and he was so mean and they were afraid to say anything to him. Bro, they're doing their job.
Right.
Just like you would do your job. Would you go to the owner of wherever you work and say, why are you treating your mistress like that?
Right. That's how you get fired.
That's how you get fired. This it's not about you being scared. This sounds ridiculous. It's not your business. So why would you do that? But was it the one and only said Puffy is a terrible person or something like that? I'm not gonna agree or disagree with you because I'm not gonna go down that rabbit hole. My point is, so what? What's your point? What's your point? Let's say he was. What's your point? Is he an S trafficker? No. Is he a racketeer? No. Is he guilty of the things that they charge him for? No. So what's your point? What are you trying to say? Because we can all come up with a laundry list of bad people. So what's your point? You're the morality police? I don't understand. What are you trying to say? Say what you want to say. Are you the morality police? You're the perfect person too? All your friends are perfect, all your loved ones are perfect. A bad person, you don't even know the person. You don't know what he does for his kids. You don't know what he does for the people who love him and are supporting him. You don't know nothing.
You know what came across to me about this dude in the trial? Because I thought he was a piece of shit too. Puff is solid, man. He was the kind of dude that if he told them girls he was going to do something, he did it. You know what I'm saying? The verbal agreement he had with Jane Doe to pay her rent, that, you know, he did what he said he was going to do, and he's told these girls straight up, I'm single. I'm single. I'm fucking all y'all. And I don't belong to none of y'all.
That's what he said from the start.
To all of them.
That's what he said from the start. And Cassie knew about Kim Porter when she got off.
And she knew about Regina.
Exactly. And Gina. You know what I'm saying? Like, so what is the bad person that you're describing? I'm not gonna go down the rabbit hole of who's good and who's bad because we're all bad. But what I'm gonna go through is like, what is it to you? Like, I don't understand why do you hate this person so much? Is it something to do with you? What's this person's name again? Something life number one, something. Is it something to do with you? Do you have a problem with yourself? That you got to take it out on somebody else to feel better about yourself? That's what I don't get. These people must come write this stuff in your comments all the time, Sean G.
Yeah, I you know, if it's a fake profile, you know, it's easy to sit behind a fake profile and say whatever you feel like saying. You know, it's a whole nother thing to have your face up, your real face and your real name. It's a whole nother story. So I don't get into that. I was at the trial, right? So I was there. I see it from a whole different perspective. Not only was I there at the trial, I was a central figure. I became a central figure. Not that I went there to do that, but I became not a central figure. Let me not go that far. I became known through this trial. I became a part of this trial from the media standpoint in terms of reporting the trial. You know what I'm saying? And I was there, that motherfucker, every day. I saw it. So I don't even get into it with these people that wasn't even there.
One thing I can say is, you know, as you guys now know, Sean G and I spoke before the trial, or at least before I got to the trial, I should say. And I seen nobody else reporting straight down the middle. That's why, like, yeah, that's why I actually like used to say if he's in the trial, if he's in the courtroom, I'm trying to sit next to him or like ask him his opinion because he's reporting right down the middle. And then I also started my own channel and started doing the same thing. Report right down the middle.
You started your channel that week, or your channel was already up?
No, I started my channel that week.
I remember you had 400 subscribers.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember I had 4 subscribers.
Vicky, thank you, baby. Thank you for the super chat. Listen,
And shout
nobody,
out.
the ones that wanted to report it down the middle, the ones that were pro Puff, their self-esteem was so low, they were scared to even say it. They
Yep.
wouldn't do it. They wouldn't do it.
There's a lot of people that already were in media and chasing a media career. You came from the same type of place as me, which was leadership, which was human development, which was, you know, self help stuff. So we came from that kind of stuff. So we just wanted integrity. We just wanted that's that's the angle we were coming from. A lot of the other people, they're coming from, I want to build my career. This trial is a good way for me to build my career. I didn't have a YouTube channel before I came there. And you know what I'm saying? And your YouTube channel was maybe a little bit with the Meech case, but it really wasn't about this kind of stuff. Your YouTube channel was about personal development.
Right. And you know something? What was I going to say? I forgot what I was going to say. Go ahead, we can keep going. It'll come back to me.
Yeah. No, we see some comments here like help beat the so yeah, and it's true. A lot of people do believe. Yo, I got a comment here from Dre says, I believe that Sean G and others helped that Rico with the down the middle reporting. Yeah, that's the comment right there. Yeah. I believe that too.
Look at that.
I believe that too. I 110% believe that too. Because here's the thing, right? When you say the truth, I'm gonna tell this real quick story. Real quick. Go ahead.
I got what I got.
Yeah, go ahead.
Even the people that may have been pro Puff or on the fence, the views and the clicks and the YouTube check and the Instagram check and the TikTok check was on the
other side.
That got you the big views. That's why Tisa Tell's views were 5 times mine. That's if you were anti, my views could have been 6 times what I was getting if I was anti-Puff. And you know, I was the only black male down there that was pro-Puff. A lot of the other black males who were there were a part of the LGBTQ joint. You know what I'm saying? And those were the ones that were getting the features on CBS, on NBC, on Nancy Grace. If I would have been anti-Puff, I would have been on every fucking news channel down there. But, you know, that didn't matter to me. That ain't how I live my life. I got a 14-year-old son, and I want my son to be able to say, that's my father, you know, and he ain't no piece of shit. You know, he didn't just go anti-Puff to get the clicks and get the YouTube check. And this was my biggest YouTube check ever. The check I got from the Puffy trial was my biggest check ever. You know what I'm saying? But I wasn't, you know what I'm saying? I just
that also came from like you could have had a bigger check, but you got your biggest check standing on business.
See what I'm saying? Exactly.
That says a lot, man. That says a lot that it can be done. That you don't have to sell your ass just to get the check. You don't have to, you know, throw your morals out the window and all that just to get the check.
And we're seeing his mother in the cafeteria. I'm seeing his kids in the cafeteria, his sister, his nephews, and I'm gonna shoot this man in the head on my platform knowing I'm lying? No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. It was very unpopular, man. I was very unpopular down there, but man, you don't get to live but one time. You got the goddamn, when I brush my teeth, I like who I'm looking back at the mirror at.
Yeah, 100%, man. And I think that it was interesting because there wasn't a lot of people. Like I was gonna say, the truth is very different, right? And like a quick story, I remember I charged somebody 7% for something, and they were
Rodney,
getting quotes at 3, 4, 5%. And they said, I'm gonna interview you for the job just because I never even heard of somebody charging 7% for this. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't get it, but just the intrigue of hearing something that is different than everybody else is it, right? So the truth is it always stays the same. So it's different than everything else. You got every version of a lie, but you only have one version of the truth.
you could wake me up at 3:19 in the morning, and I know if I'm telling the truth, I can tell the truth. You could wake me up 2 weeks from now at 4:06 in the morning, and I'm gonna tell the same goddamn story. But if I'm
Right.
lying, the story gonna change every time, which was the same way old lying ass Dawn Richard did on the stand. Nicole Westmoreland broke her ass down.
Yeah.
Told 4 different stories about the eggs in the skillet and all that kind of shit, man.
100%, man. 100%. All right, let's try to get through the rest of this because we're an hour in. So let's try to get through the rest of this. See?
Yes, sir. All right. So this part now it says, in addition to the physical assault, Mr. Combs frequently reminded Miss Ventura of his ability to cause serious harm, whether by requiring her to carry his gun in her purse or by blowing up the car of a musician that was romantically interested in Miss
Oh my
Ventura.
gosh. You can keep going. Like if we have to stop every time we hear cap, we'll be here all night.
Yeah. Adding insult to injury, Mr. Combs Mr. Combs used illegal substances and threats of violence to force Miss Ventura into
Now,
repeated unwanted encounters with male
now
escorts.
this is the one. This is the one that is crazy. This is the one that is crazy. That he drugged her. That's what that means. But they can't say that he drugged her. They have to say that he what did they say? Exactly.
Um,
What's the exact words?
He used illegal substance.
Use
yeah,
illegal substances.
and threats of violence.
Yeah. So they can't say that he drugged her because there's direct evidence against that. And they can't say that he beat her in order to do the FOs, the freak offs, because there's direct evidence that she wanted to do it. She's reaching out to these people herself. She's texting, I love the freak off. She has pet names for the escorts. So they can't say any of those. So what they have to say is used violence and illegal substances without actually saying the actual specific thing that happened, because she told the lawyer, well, I can't really say that because he probably has text messages of me texting them, the people saying, hey, where you at when Sean's out of town? And they can't say illegal substances like as if he drugged her because she's there buying Bono, the balcony girl, 300 pills at a time, doing all the drugs without him, even in the picture or the country.
And in my opinion, had a sexual relationship with Brianna.
With her too, yeah, and had a sexual relationship, in my opinion. And Nicole Westmoreland thinks so too.
Because every time Nicole Westmoreland tried to bring it up, this sidebar,
Mm-hmm.
they would never let her approach that topic. Maureen called me because Nicole Westmoreland says, well, when you and Brianna when you and Cassie hook back up, right? Hooking back up can be construed as like sidebar, objection. I said, yeah. That girl turned Cassie out. They had a lesbian relationship. 100%. I believe that.
Well, yeah, and for those of y'all that didn't get a chance to read the transcripts or weren't at the trial yourselves, and obviously mainstream media is not going to report it, but the first time they got close, quote unquote close, Cassie did a photo shoot with the Brianna girl, and it was Brianna's idea that Cassie does the photo shoot in nothing but a small little t-shirt, no panties, no nothing, just a photo shoot in the pool. And that night they slept in the same bed. So you do the math.
And Brianna stayed by Cassie's house every day for
And they
weeks.
asked, where would you sleep? She said, sometimes on the couch, sometimes on the floor, sometimes in the patio. And then they said, in the bed? Yeah, sometimes in the bed with her.
Exactly. Talk about it.
So
You mean
that
to tell
this is
me,
not coming from nowhere.
right? They over there doing GHB. They over there doing GHB, ketamine, ecstasy, cocaine, Tulsi, weed, coke, acid, mushrooms, and they ain't turning each other out, man. Come on, man. All this
Yeah.
came out at the trial.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
All right, let's get back into it. Before I do so, shout out to Ray J. Thank you so much, Ray J, for joining us today. And anybody else who is tuning in, remember to like up that video. And I know Sean G is also streaming on his platform. Remember to like up Sean G's video as well. Share it to anybody who needs to hear it.
Shout out
And
to everybody in the live chat,
from
man.
our side as well, guys. All
Vicky
right.
Yeah, shout
Scott,
out to
what up?
everybody in the live chat.
Milton Scott, winner.
Yeah.
Tawana Campbell, what up?
So it says, over the years that Mr. Combs abused Miss Ventura physically and sexually, she again and again tried to escape his tight hold over her life. Every time she hid, Mr. Combs' vast network of corporations and affiliated entities found her, and those who worked for Mr. Combs' companies implored her to return to him. Many went as far as to explicitly state that her failure to return to Mr. Combs would hinder her success in the entertainment
Yo,
industry.
let me pause it. That stuff is wild to me. First of all, none of the testimony was like that. None of it. I'm gonna give you three examples in which she distanced herself from Puff, and that did not happen. First example is the most popular one, which is the Kid Cudi situation, right?
J.
So the
Lou,
Kid
J. Lou.
shout out. The Kid Cudi situation was all a lie, first of all. What happened was Cassie was cheating on Puff, and Puff found out. But
For over a year.
all the, for over a year. And then all this nonsense with Torre and all these people saying, well, he
Oh man,
dragged her back
that
into the
was man.
relationship.
AJ,
Yo,
that nigga came the last 2 days.
he like came the last two
He was
days,
only
bro.
there for the closing arguments, man. And I be watching this dude, and you did a video on him, Torre.
I had to.
You was only there for 2 days, man. You was only there for 2 days, and you was anti-Puff because I saw your Instagram reels popping up in my feed before the verdict. You was anti-Puff. Then I saw you do a video saying, "Oh, I spoke to Puff and we chilled everything out. We squashed all the beef." And then right after that, you went right back to the bullshit. You was there for 2 days, man. Knock it off. And
No,
nobody
100%,
from
bro.
the only girl from the Breakfast Club, Lauren Rosa, she was there sparingly every once in a while. Neither of the other two dudes ever showed up. The one that's indicted now, that's in an indictment, active indictment in Newark, New Jersey. I ain't gonna mention his name. You gonna have to. We gonna be watching that one. I'm gonna be covering that one. You gonna have to take the stand or something.
Yeah, same.
The
It's down
other
the block
kid
from you. I'll pull up to it's in Newark, right?
is in Newark. As soon as you get off the PATH train, you walk right up the street. The courthouse is right there.
Gotcha.
And the other dude, you know, he had some issues with an underage girl a while back. I think he's squashed it, but I can't believe and y'all used to work for Puff. Puff came on your platform to help you, and now the human being is a trash can. All 8 human beings are trash cans. They will look for an opportunity for them to benefit themselves, and they will stab you in the back. Yes, they will.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. 100%. And that crazy take on the Cuddy situation just threw me for a loop because Cuddy testified that he still spent Christmas with Cassie and her family. So all
In
this Puff
Connecticut.
went and dragged her back in Connecticut. So all this about Puff dragged her back and she tried to leave. He said, I ended up leaving her after Christmas because she was still in a relationship with him and it was clear. And Brian Steele said, she played both of y'all, didn't she? And he said, yes, she played both of us. So
Brian
what are we
Steele
talking
killed
about?
you. She played you.
She
Brian Steele
Puff
says,
did it.
Cassie played you, right? Yo, I was like, oh man. And he didn't answer, Jack. And then he asked him again. He says, you got played. Cassie played you, right? Yo, that was for him to use that vernacular, which is like hip hop vernacular.
Exactly,
was great.
exactly.
He knew what the fuck he was being asked, but he tried to play it off. He was
Yep.
in love with Cassie.
He was in love with Cassie. He said that too. He said that too.
Yes, he was.
You know what I'm saying? So let's put this piece together, right? Puff finds out.
Latoya
Puff
Brown, I
goes
see
to
you.
shout out Latoya. Puff finds out. Puff goes to confront Cuddy. He leaves before Cuddy ends up getting there, and that's it, right? And that's it. And then Cassie goes and stays with Cuddy, spends Christmas with Cuddy. And then Cuddy breaks up with Cassie. Cassie didn't break up with Cuddy. Cuddy broke up with her after Christmas. And then a couple weeks after he breaks up with her, maybe 2 to 3 weeks after he breaks up with her, the car gets set on fire and it's a female's DNA on the Molotov cocktail. Those are the events that happen. I'm just saying. Those are the events that happen. She cheats on Puff. Puff finds out. He gets upset. He basically says, all right, go and do your thing. She stays with Cuddy. She doesn't go back to Puff. She stays with Cuddy, so much so that they spend Christmas together in Connecticut at her parents' house. And then he breaks up with her after Christmas. And then his car gets set on fire. And it's a female DNA on the Molotov cocktail.
Right. That the LAPD somehow loses.
That the LAPD
They
somehow
lose the
loses.
evidence. They lose the fingerprint DNA evidence. They can't find it.
Right.
And they blame that. They spin that to blame that on Puff, that he had power within the LAPD to get the evidence thrown out because it was his. Oh man, what a yo, poor guy, man. Poor
Yeah,
guy.
that's one thing I can understand too, Sean G. How are they able to say that? Yeah, it's because of the power that Puff had, why he's able to make so many things disappear and was able to pull so many strings. But yet, if it's because of the power, why is this man still in jail?
Yeah, if he
he's
has so
able
much
to pull
power.
so many strings, if he had so much power, why is he still there, not knowing what his fate is gonna be, how long he's gonna be in prison for,
Yo,
and sitting there in a cold ass cell?
this dude's comeback is going to be so monumental. He is so big. He's the biggest star on the planet right now. He's the most popular man on the planet, whether you good or bad or whatever. His name, if he announces he's going to do a show in Madison Square Garden for 2 days or a Friday and a Saturday, it's going to sell out in hours. And his comeback is going to be huge because you can't cancel him. He's too big. He is the brand. You can't cancel Kanye West. He is the brand. You can cancel the podcast with Soul. You can cancel Conversations with Jay. You can cancel C, but you can't cancel Puff.
It's impossible.
He's too big. There's always going to be somebody that is going to want to make money with him. Always. And he was acquitted.
And he was acquitted, which is the most important part that people don't understand.
Like
I saw a dude put a video out the other day saying this stuff sounds crazy for the Justin Bieber video that I did the other day, saying Justin Bieber is not a victim. Like this guy said, with the stuff that we now know about Diddy, yeah, what do we now know about Diddy, bro? That he was acquitted. That's what we now know.
By
That they were
jury, Jay.
capping by a
By
jury.
jury
Like,
of regular New
36-0 on those charges.
By a jury that the prosecution agreed to picking. And they got
Exactly.
rid of the black juror in the 6th week. They cheated, man. And still lost.
No, 100%. There were some characters at the court, man. A lot of them. But no, there's no character I would say that stood out for just calling it down the middle,
Look at that
unless it
comment right
was
there. Look at that comment
what's
right
that?
there, Jay. Brandon Burks.
Let me just try to look.
Brandon Burks,
You
thank
want
you
to
so
put up on the
much. Brandon Burke says, my favorite part that gets no attention is Cassie being caught at the hotel with Puff under an assumed name in 2021, 2 years after she was married.
Hey yo, Brandon Burke, I'll do you one better, Brandon Burks. I'll do you one better, Brandon Burks. Do you know what Cassie's firstborn daughter's name is? Frankie. And Puff, and Puff's name was Frank White when he used to check into hotels for the
Frank
freak
Black.
offs. His Frank Black, yeah, because Biggie was Frank White. Yeah, Biggie was Frank White. And Puff's name was Frank Black. That was his alias when they used to check into the hotel for the freak offs. This woman went and had a whole nother man, married him, had a whole nother child, and called the daughter Frankie. And this lawsuit we're supposed to take serious right around the time that you just birthed a child and you named the child Frankie after the freak offs.
Listen, man, you know what was a turning point for me? Like, I'm a dude, right? And I done dealt with a lot of women in my life, right?
Mm.
And I know when a honey like me, and I know when a honey don't like me. I can hear from the inflection in their voice, their tone, their words. When I saw Cassie on the stand getting cross-examined by Anna Escobedo, the first thing that came to my mind, I said, this motherfucker still love Puff. I can hear it in her tone. And I said, Puffy still love her. And this is the reason that they had to deny him bail. Because if Puffy would have got out on bail and said, yo, call my man at the Chipotle and tell him the three-way call the dude at Burger King. And then, yo, the three-way dude from Burger King call the dude that work at the gas station. And then y'all call Cassie on the phone. And Cassie would have got on the phone and heard Puff's voice, and Puff say, now, baby, what's going on, man? Come over here. Come see me. The Southern District of New York would have had no case because she would have not have went. Married to that dude or not, if she would have heard that nigga's voice, baby, come on now. You for real, you gonna really come over here, take them kids and y'all come on. I got you. It would have been no case, Jay.
Bro, I agree with you, and that's why I'm saying Cassie lied. I'm gonna start there, but I don't think that she meant for it to take it this far. I think she wrote this book. She tried to extort the man for the money in the first place. Then they took the book and created a lawsuit because he told her basically kick rocks by not responding to her. And then when she got the lawsuit and got her money, she wanted to sail off into the sunset. But then the lawsuit got into the hands of the prosecutors of the federal government, and the federal government then went, okay, so this is all true, right? This is all true, right? And what is she going to say? The lawsuit was all lies. It was based off of a salacious book that she was writing. There was a lot of lies in there. Not all lies, but there was a lot of lies, and most of it was fabricated. And she had to stick with the story on the stand.
I believe this, Jay. The government showed her the lawsuit and said, this is all bullshit. You lied and you got $20 million. Now, if you want to keep that $20 million, you are going to we can indict you as a co-conspirator because we already speaking to Daniel Phillip and Clayton Howard and all these other male escorts, and they all told us it was you that was calling them. It was you that was paying them. We got records, text messages from them, you setting up the freak offs. But what you gonna do, we're gonna let you keep this 20 million. But you're gonna testify against Puff for us at trial. Or else that's what I believe happened.
Yeah. You're talking about coercion or coercion.
Exactly. There
Coercion.
you go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
you talking about goddamn force and coercion. That's it.
Exactly.
That's it.
Force of coercion, man. No, 100%. I agree with you, man, that it was all what the government wanted. And at the end of the day, you know what? They didn't get what they wanted because they wanted this man's money through the RICO and they wanted him to spend the rest of his life in prison. And that's not what happened.
And they wanted his catalog. His Mary J. Blige catalog, his 112, his Biggie, his Carl Thomas, Craig Mack, G Dep. They wanted all of that catalog so they can make money off of that forever. Seize all of his
Properties,
diagrams from the
plane,
Sean
boat,
John, the plane, the liquor, everything, and throw that nigga
stocks.
and break his
Yeah,
family.
yeah.
And they
No,
lost.
100%. Yeah, 100%. So you think that if Williams, what's his name, Damian Williams, if he wasn't the head of the Southern District of New York, do you think that Comey would have did that? Like Comey would have indicted him?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But where the hell is he at? I've been
Oh,
going on here. Tampa,
yeah.
Florida. What up, man? I'm gonna be down there. I'm gonna be down there next week. I'm gonna be in Tampa next week. 813-727 Clearwater. What up?
Shout out Tampa.
I don't know, man. I don't know, man. You know, Maureen Comey can't front on her. She's a bad girl, you know, and she's be a hell of a defense attorney. I would let her represent me because she's a fighter. She don't take no shit. But she just had a case she couldn't win.
And
And
she was also she couldn't compete with somebody like
no,
Agnifilo. She's
no.
young. She's under 40 years old. Agnifilo is seasoned. He's a trial lawyer. He does this. She doesn't
Steele,
she
Brian
doesn't do
Steele,
this like that.
she
Brian
could.
Steele, yeah, she was overmatched. There was no way.
All of them. They look like trainees, man. They look like management trainees, lawyers to be, interns.
Right.
When you saw them walking in the court, because they all sat down in the front row like this. They didn't move. And fucking Teddy and Nicole Westmoreland and Brett, they all up over here. All of them moving around at the same time. All of them, Puffy writing them notes. Here, Puffy standing up. They and body language is so important at war. It's so important, and the jury, it's impactful, and the jury picked up on that. These motherfuckers, they didn't even call a witness. They were outmatched. Jay, like you said, there was no way they could beat them.
There was no way, man. It was so obvious. It was 100% obvious. And at the end of the day, too, you know, people. I think it was actually Mark Agnifilo who said it. He said she'll land on her feet, but Mark Agnifilo, I feel like he wants to hire her. Like he said, she's a hell of a lawyer, but Maureen Comey. I think he wants to hire
her. She ain't no joke now. If I'm in a jam and I need a defense attorney, shit, I'll hire her because she don't take no shit. She fought. She fought.
Yeah, she was just outmatched, but she fought. Yeah.
But she did. The case was bogus.
Now, I know you guys had just talked about this, but I want to take you guys back there just a little bit, just to comment on this. But I know you've said you, Jay, and Big Sean had mentioned that it was clear that Cassie was still in love with Diddy, and we've heard it on a few other platforms too. But there's some people who are confused as to why she would have sent in that letter on the day of when he was.
The widow did that. I don't believe she did that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It
I
was
don't
on.
believe.
It was a letter on behalf of her lawyer. She didn't
Right.
write that letter.
I don't
He
believe
wrote it.
she called him and said, "Yo, write a letter to keep him in there." I believe this lawyer, Doug Wigdor, under his own volition, under his own choice, chose to write that letter. You know what I'm saying? Because this thing fell apart. This whole civil suit was a lie, and he's exposed. That's my
You
belief.
you have to also remember, right? She's she she's getting sued now by at least one of the escorts, maybe more. She's been exposed also. She's also perjured herself on the stand.
Talk about it.
Um, you know what I'm saying? And she also, I don't know what agreement they have, but I wonder if she could be liable to give some of that money back. And so he's also doing everything that he can do to not just to keep her money, but if they got to get the money back, it's partly his money too. So he's trying to keep his money that he got from the settlement
His
and
reputation.
his reputation
He's trying
exactly
not to get called before the New York State Bar for
to
attorney
explain this
misconduct.
nonsense.
You know, there's a lot at stake for him.
Yeah, 100%.
A lot at stake.
So yeah, that's what I think. I don't. If it was up to her, she wouldn't have did it. Like,
No.
what did she? What, she doesn't even want to be in the spotlight. She wanted to take her 30 million and just go away.
I think Puffy still loved her too. I think, man, if after one of them days they was testifying, because they said that was the first time Puffy had seen her in a couple of years.
Yeah,
I believe if Puffy would have said, "Yo, let's go get some Chipotle in like 2 hours," she would have looked at her husband and said, "Yo, I'll take these kids. I'll catch up with you," and she would have went and met him, and that nigga would have dropped whatever he was doing and went and met with her. I believe they both have a codependency. Look at the relationship that they had, right? Drug fueled, obsessive compulsive, sexual, highly sexual, right? Voyeurism, taboo sexual, where they filmed each other with male escorts. So they have this bond that we have to keep this. They have a bond, and they were doing this for 11 years.
11
Right?
years.
And I think inside of that, there was a connection, right? Definitely a sexual connection, a lustful physical attraction, and then maybe even some affairs of the heart. I think they both, neither one of them expected this to spiral out of control. And Cassie could have buried Puff if she really hated him. If this shit was true, and she really hated him, and he really forced her to do all of these things, she could have got on the stand and said, "Man, I saw the nigga buy 40 keys from a drug cartel in Southern California. I saw him and this other dude from the cartel unalive these two dudes behind this garage." And the jury, Maureen Comey, CNN, Nancy Gray, they would have ate it up and he would have been done after her testimony. But she got up there and said, "I loved them and I love our past." That's when I said, this is a lie.
Yeah, that I love our past was crazy.
Because she had already lied, Jay. So she could have
Yeah,
lied some more.
yeah,
And she
yeah.
didn't.
That I love our past was 5 days on the testimony, like testimony, just talking about how I didn't want to do this and I didn't want to do that, and I felt like I had to, and so on and so forth. And then to say I love our past is nuts.
That changed everything for me. That changed.
Yeah.
When she said that, I said, man, they lied. Somebody done told a lie. Somebody done told a lie.
All right, gentlemen, are ready to get back into it?
Let's do it.
Yeah, we could do that, but there
We ain't
was
even got, hey, see, we ain't even got to go line by line, man, because we'll be in this motherfucker all night unless you
we'll
want
be
to.
here all day, yeah. But what I want is, remember, we wrote down some of those contradictions, the direct contradictions. I want to skip to those direct contradictions from her testimony versus this lawsuit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't put that in a document, but I can read it if that's
Yeah,
okay.
just read it. We were there, we remember.
Yeah. So an inconsistency that was pointed out was the fake flyer and Miami trip. The lawsuit states that Diddy arranged a fake flyer to an event Cassie was hosting in Miami to give
Yes,
cover.
exactly. That's what it said in the lawsuit, that there was a fake flyer. Meanwhile, and that Diddy made the fake flyer,
Talk
and that
about it, Jay.
he
Tell,
tried to,
tell the
yeah,
truth.
and I
Tell
exactly, the
the truth.
lawsuit states, yeah, the lawsuit states that he made some fake flyer just to get her and manipulate her to just come out to Miami, and so he can have her out there. Meanwhile, in the trial, what came out was that either she made the fake flyer or somebody around her made the fake flyer to
She
make an
organized it.
excuse. Is she organized it to make an excuse to go and see him? So nobody. So it was really that she was the one organizing it, and the lawsuit says that Diddy was organizing it. You
And
see how
Puffy
crazy
was
this is?
already, she testified Puffy was already
Was
hitting it.
already in Miami,
But they was meeting in
and they were
hotels
already,
in
yeah,
New York. She was already
exactly.
coming to New York. He was already hitting it
Yep.
in different hotels in New York. She tested. What a fucking
Yo, I
this
thought, I was
document
like,
is
yo, yo, this is just a
this
straight
is
lie.
trash, man. This
Yeah,
is
this is not a
trash.
lawsuit. This is a lie suit, man. This is a lie suit, man.
Yeah.
Dumb Rico, this is trash.
So yeah, you guys had explained the part about the lawsuit and stuff. In the testimony, she says, I want the people to hear like the direct stuff. She says she didn't make the flyer, but someone they knew did. She frames the
She
trip as
made
a
damn flyer.
mutual. They wanted to spend as mutual. They wanted to spend the weekend together, and that the flyer was just a cover for that. She does not say
Exactly.
she was coerced into going.
Exactly. Yeah, she
Said
wasn't coerced. I don't mean to interrupt you, but we get it. Like she wasn't coerced, nothing like that. She set it up.
Mhm.
And the lawsuit says that why would Puff need to create a fake flyer to go and see her? And there and like Sean G said, he was already hitting it.
In New
Like,
York at different hotels.
yeah. At
She
different hotels.
testified to that on the stand.
Yo, that was crazy. When I read that part, I was like, yo,
She said that she set that shit up so she could get away from Ryan Leslie.
Yeah.
exactly.
So
Crazy, man.
All right, what's the
Motherfuckers
next one?
lying, man.
another inconsistency was the first sexual intercourse that they had or whatever. It says the lawsuit implied the
Oh yeah,
first.
the lawsuit says that he forced himself on her. That
Mhm.
he forced himself on her at her 21st birthday party. Meanwhile, she says that it was mutual, but she just didn't know how to feel about it.
Yeah, because he
But the
showed up
lawsuit
there.
says he forced himself.
He came down there with Britney Spears and Dallas Austin to her birthday party. He
Well,
brought
that too in the lawsuit. Yeah, the lawsuit also says that he tried to flaunt celebrities and invited himself to her birthday party. What? He threw the party for her. He
Yeah.
threw the party for her. And that was her birthday party that he threw. And why would Puff need to flaunt celebrities? He's Puff. You already know
Thomas
he knows
McCray. Thank
everybody.
you
You're
for that
signed
super
to the
chat.
man.
All
Shout
right.
out Thomas McCray. Yeah, continue. It's crazy, man.
Yeah. So introduction to ecstasy. In the lawsuit, it stated
Oh
the first
gosh,
time she took ecstasy was in New York when Diddy handed her a pill without telling her what it was, and then she later learned it was ecstasy. That was before the Miami trip. In the
okay.
testimony,
Pause. Pause.
Mhm.
Pause. Just so y'all know, I want to repeat that. She said in the lawsuit, or her lawyer said in the lawsuit, that he handed her a pill before the Miami trip and just told her, take a pill, take the pill. And she didn't know what it was. But in the testimony, what happened? See?
In the testimony, it said that she had unintentionally taken ecstasy before Miami from someone else's Gatorade, not from Diddy. The first intentional ecstasy was used in Miami, given by Diddy. So she said she had unintentionally taken
See,
it.
exactly.
Yeah.
So he didn't get her hooked on drugs or anything like that, what they're trying to say.
Mhm.
She was already taking drugs. Who unintentionally drinks somebody else's Gatorade bottle with ecstasy in it? That if I ever heard a lie in my life, I remember I was in Mexico City on this rooftop party one time, and everybody's passing around this bottle of MDMA, and they call it magic water. I said, "What is that?" They said it's magic water. You want some? I said, "No, I'm good." That's what people do in these parties. So for somebody to say I unintentionally thought I was drinking Gatorade, you're lying.
You wanted that shit.
You exactly.
Stop lying. But
Yeah.
I believe, you know, man, this shit is crazy, man. I'm glad Puff, man. That nigga beat them, man. That nigga is gonna be free. That nigga is gonna be free. He gonna be done did a year in prison for a charge that there is no historical legal
Precedent.
precedent that
Exactly.
shows that somebody in his position even got jail time. He's
Exactly.
gonna get a year. He's gonna get 54 days good time. So it's gonna be as if he's done 13 months, and he's gonna get out. That nigga is in there reflecting. He's doing 500 push-ups a day. He's sleeping. He ain't been getting high. He ain't been smoking no weed. He ain't been drinking. And he's looking back at everybody that stabbed him in the back in this situation. And he's gonna come out and be a person that nobody's ever met, not even his kids. They are not gonna recognize him, because that's precisely what happened to me. Prison changes you, especially when you've been hurt and damaged and wounded, like he has been, even though it's just of his own doing and self-manufactured. The same with me. I fucked myself up. I put myself in that position. I broke the law. I went to prison. It was my fault. But when I got in there and I self-reflected, you see the world different, man. And my shit ain't nowhere near where Puffy's is. He's gonna come out. He's in there right now, Madison Square Garden. Goddamn music, Kanye West music. You know, I'm gonna do this. His daughters launched the clothing line.
Right.
Come on, man. That nigga gonna be the truth when he get out, man.
Yo,
What?
you know the craziest thing is we haven't heard of and like we haven't heard from him in years now. Like real, like anything real in years. You know what I'm saying? I'm if he is working on music or anything like that when he gets out, I want to hear it because you
Mo
can't
better.
yeah, you it's his perspective and it can't like we've not heard his perspective.
Hey, Jay.
So
I'm gonna say two words, and then I want you to just take off and expound and add some color to this. And I'm just gonna say the words. Judge Submarinian.
I had a good thought about the judge in the beginning. I felt like he was fair. I still kind of felt like it was fair. But what I really do believe is they picked this judge, this young judge with little experience on purpose because they wanted to have a judge that would do what they say. And when I say they, I mean the higher ups. Because a lot of this stuff really didn't make any sense to me. And I'll give you a perfect example. At the end, when he basically asked Puff, "You want to go home, right?" And Puff is like, "Yeah, I want to go home." You know what I'm saying? And then he leaves after Maureen Comey says what she has to say, whatever. He leaves and he says, we'll talk about it at 1 o'clock." Then it gets extended to 2 o'clock, and then three, and then four, and then five. And then at 5 o'clock, he says, "We're going to keep you in jail because, or I'm denying bail because you have a violent past according to what your lawyers said." But you already knew that. So if that was the reason why you were going to keep him from getting bail and you were going to keep him in jail, why wouldn't you just say that from the beginning?
Why
And then
ask
why
the
did you
man?
have to expect?
I'm sure you don't want to go back to
Why
NBC
ask him?
Brooklyn. Right, Mr.
Exactly.
Combs?
Why ask the man? Why even take a break? And then why did it have to extend from 1 o'clock all the way until the end of the day? And you had to keep extending. You know why? Because you're waiting for your higher ups to tell you this is what you're doing. This is what has to happen. That's my and nobody ain't nobody gonna change my mind on that. Like on that, nobody's gonna change my mind. Nobody can change my mind on that.
I don't think I get a lot of comments in the comment section. He hates Puff. He's biased against Puff. He's a racist. Uh, he's got it in for Puff. Negative. None of that to me is true. I think Judge Submarinian called a fair fucking trial. When the prosecution objected to some bullshit, he would sustain or object. And when Puffy's legal team objected to some bullshit, he would sustain or object. He allowed testimony and evidence to be presented in the case that hurt the prosecution. He allowed evidence to be presented in the case that hurt Puff. Puffy even stood up in court and told him out of Puffy's mouth, I think you're doing a great job.
Great job.
Judge. Puffy said this. But like you, Jay, I think that he was bullied.
Yeah, there's somebody that was pulling the strings, and
He
they had to
was
get.
bullied.
They couldn't get some. I don't know if you've been following that other case with the Idaho kids that got unalived in the university. I think it was Idaho. I don't. It was one of those Middletown America places. But that judge, they said, a lot of people said that judge, it was his last trial, and he just wanted to get it over with. So he pushed through the deal, and they gave the guy a deal so he didn't get the death penalty. But my point is, if that's true, then this is the opposite of that. That they got a newer judge, big high profile case, deliberately, because they wouldn't have been able to bully a seasoned judge.
No.
Especially one that's on his last day. He'd be like, yo, I'm doing what I do. What do you
mistrial?
Yep.
And the first judge before Submarinian was a black judge. Name was Andre Carter, I think, or something Carter. They got him off the case. Even
before the bail stuff on the last day of trial, even before that, with the the juror number 6 or whatever that they kicked off of the jury. Yo, even with that, I thought he was being fair, but then all of a sudden it just switched. It just switched all of a sudden. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I was there that day, the entire day, and I can't. Yeah,
Friday. It was a Friday.
Yeah. It was a Friday, and I was shocked.
That morning, he was so adamant, telling Maureen Comey, telling Slavic, telling Johnson.
We're gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. Everything.
I don't care what y'all say. Juror number 6 is staying on the jury. And I wish y'all stop asking me this shit, and I ain't gonna change my mind. That was his position.
After lunch now, in the afternoon, all of a sudden it flipped. I was like, what?
No, it was at the end. No, it was at the end of the evening session when we all left.
And he did say, I'll give it the weekend. Yeah, he did say I'll give it the weekend, but his tone was changed by then already. Yeah. And then he made up he said on Monday he gave the final, whatever. But to me, I was just like, this is weird, bro. It's like you leave, you say one thing here, and then you leave, and then you come back and you have a whole different perspective.
And Alexandra Shapiro stood up. She stood up Monday morning. Remember, they argued about it for like the first hour of court. Alexandra Shapiro said, Judge, I don't understand your sharp reversal, and I'm going to have to ask for a mistrial because you just told us remember, because Alexandra Shapiro wrote that letter on Sunday night.
Right.
Asking him, why did he do it? Man, I said, he was intimidated by Maureen Comey, or either Maureen Comey's father. Somebody was bullying that nigga, man.
Yeah, there was definitely something going on, man. When I was like, this is weird, man. So nobody could convince my mind otherwise. I'll be honest with you. No, you don't become a judge by being erratic. You become a judge by being stoic. You become a judge by keeping it always consistent. You don't become a judge by saying one thing and then acting the next, and then you don't do that. So I know that if he became a judge, it was for a specific reason. He was stoic, but he's following orders. People making calls, people telling him this is what we're doing next. This is the move. This is
what you're doing.
Yeah.
Because why would you put a judge on the bench on a high-profile case like this, the biggest case, 6 prosecutors, the most in the history of Southern District of New York, and you're going to put a judge with 2 years experience on that case? Come on, man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What's up, Steve?
Yeah, I was also gonna. I don't. There was a point I kind of tuned out, so I wasn't sure if you guys touched on it. But when the second motion for bail, um, following the sentence hearing on October 3rd, why did he take so long to respond to that? I think he would have already known that he was gonna deny that. So why didn't you just respond? But how many days did he take to respond, Jay? I think it took almost a week or 4 days or
For
so.
you said for which?
For the motion for bail following
The
the
date last week?
yeah.
Nah, he only took
Oh,
about a
that
day
one.
or two.
Yeah,
They,
he took a day or two. Yeah, he took a
Yeah.
day or two. He because what he did is he gave 2 days. I think he gave 48 hours for the prosecutors to respond, or almost 48 hours. He gave like a day and a half for them to respond, and they responded like right at midnight, right at the deadline. And
Right.
then he took a day to respond. So he allowed the prosecutors to respond, which they didn't even respond on anything. I thought that was crazy too. They
hmm.
didn't even say anything. All they said basically in their letter was he didn't prove that he wasn't a risk to the community.
The Southern District of New York, their brand and their image took a hit, man. I don't want to say irreparable harm was done to that brand, but the whole world saw this trial, and their the fear that they instilled and the respect that the world had for them, it ain't there no more, man.
Yeah, and this one was right off the heels of the Young Thug trial. On top of that, with the feds, right now it wasn't the same Southern District of New York, but it was still the feds, and so I think a lot of
I
people.
think the YSL was the state of Georgia. I think.
YSL was in
I
Georgia.
could be
That's correct.
wrong.
Yeah, yeah. It was the state of Georgia, but my point is that all this conviction rate and all that stuff that people throw around, people are starting. It was scary before, it was intimidating before, and now it's not as scary and as intimidating.
Because the niggas don't have no money. The only reason all of this prosecutorial misconduct and this attorney misconduct and these lies get uncovered and exposed is because Puffy had tall dollars, man. And he had the best
No,
legal team in the world.
one of the things that I hate is that they say, "Oh, money and fame can get you off of anything. You can get away with murder," and that's not what we're talking about. What we're talking about is that you can have a fair fight. Like they have resources, like endless resources. They could do whatever they want. And I always give this example because when I've represented myself in court before, and I always give the example of just simply transcripts. When I was representing myself in court, just the transcripts alone were costing like $1,500
Yeah.
just to file a simple motion. And so like I ended up speaking less because I didn't want them to type as many words, because you got to pay per page. And I used the DNA test. They weren't going to say that it was a female DNA on the Molotov cocktail. So Puff has to get DNA tests and this and that. So when you have tall money, it just allows you to have a fair fight. It doesn't mean that all of a sudden you're going to get off these charges. Just give me a shot. If they really wanted it to be a fair fight, Sean G, they would say anything that we spend, you can spend. If we get our DNA test, we'll give you the money to get your DNA test.
All I was thinking while this trial was going on, and as I saw all these lies and this prosecutorial misconduct, I said, man, how many poor Puerto Ricans, how many poor white boys, how many poor Dominicans, how many poor Caribbean blacks, how many poor foundational Black American men have gotten railroaded by prosecutors because they don't got the money to
Exactly.
uncover, but that these prosecutors are willing to do anything for conviction. I said, yo, this
Exactly.
shit is crazy, man.
Yo, bro, the crazy thing that I thought was when they asked Cassie, again, I wasn't there for the Cassie testimony. I came the second week, but I read the transcripts, and when they asked her about that medication that she was on, the medication that helps you get off, that's safe to take when you're pregnant, that helps you get off the opioids, which means you're still a drug addict even today, that you're still like, when they asked her about that medication. I said, damn, those private investigators, even that Puffy has, even know what her prescription medication is. I said, I couldn't afford to do that.
No. Listen, man. Listen. I'm sitting in the trial and I'm watching and see Mark Agnifilo ran the federal prosecutor's office in New Jersey, in the District of New Jersey. He was the head motherfucker. Alexandra Shapiro has been an assistant U.S. attorney for the Fed. She's been a federal prosecutor. And it seemed like to me that even if these government witnesses met with the prosecutors that morning, they knew. Agnifilo knew. So I said, man, Mark Agnifilo got somebody in the Southern District of New York goddamn texting him, yo, they doing this, they doing, because there was nothing, Jay, that Maureen Comey them did that they didn't know it wasn't ready.
He didn't know already. Exactly.
Even if it was 15 minutes before the witness got on the stand, because when Brianna got on the stand and said she just texted Cassie 30 minutes ago, what Nicole Westmoreland said,
they knew already.
Nicole Westmoreland said, you just texted Deontay Nash and Cassie 30 minutes ago. Is that true?
Earlier, yeah.
I said, man,
like,
these
yo, how did they know? Yeah, that kind of went crazy. And she said, and they said to her, what did you text? What was your conversation? And she was talking about, oh, I sent her a bathtub for her new house or whatever. I sent her some bathtubs. Bro, that you imagine if you're a witness on the stand and they're like, yeah, you just texted them, right?
Thank you.
You're shook. You're like, what?
Right. You thrown all the way off. And even when Jonathan Bach was cross-examining Dr. Dawn Hughes, the expert witness, he knew. He says, well, you met with the prosecutors this morning, didn't you? 8:38 this morning. It's now 9:07. You met. I see, yo. I said, these motherfuckers, they know something. They got somebody on the inside that knows this case is some bullshit and is going to help Puff out. They know Puff is getting railroaded.
No, 100%, bro. 100%. And that also probably shook the prosecutors as well. Because they're like, yo, who's talking?
Yo, Brian Steele, like, Thomas McCrae. Brian Steele would have a big binder, right? He would walk up to the goddamn podium with his binder, and the witness is sitting there. The courtroom is dead quiet. He puts the binder down. The judge says, Mr. Steele, you ready for your cross-examination? I am. Always respectful. All of Puffy's lawyers were always respectful for some reason. So everybody's waiting for Brian Steele. He comes up. He puts this big binder on the podium, and the witness is sitting there. And then he walks way over here. He walked way over here and take another 20, 30 seconds, a minute. He just fucking around. And the witness is sitting there like, oh shit, what he's going? And then he comes back and he sits down and he says, on July 31st, 2018, at 3:30, is that fair to say? And just start quoting facts. And the witness is sitting there. He made Mia start crying on the stand. Maureen Comey said he harassing the witness. That motherfucker, yeah. Brian Steele, is a bad motherfucker, man. That is bad, man.
And the thing is, the mainstream media, all they did is they talked about the direct examination. They never talked about the cross-examination, bro.
Am I lying, Jay, about Brian Steele, how he moved around the courtroom?
It's all facts. It's all facts. Brian Steele's such a real one that remember when he was ready to go to jail for Young Thug? When the judge said he's going to hold him in contempt, and he's going to hold him into contempt, he said, all right, let's go.
And he came in every morning with the goddamn shape up. He was hygiene. And the honeys, the women outside the courtroom in the morning used to tell him, baby Brian, you so cute. The women in the courtroom while he was walking in used to be on his job. And he works out. If you look at his social media page, he's constantly in sweatpants. That motherfucker, man. Oh, man. And Nicole Westmoreland, that shit was entertaining to me, man. I went for the entertainment. The direct examination didn't mean nothing to me. After like I said, when they gonna do the cross? Who doing the cross?
Exactly.
That's all we was talking about, Jay.
That's all we were talking about. You said, yo, you think it's gonna be Nicole Westmoreland? I think it's gonna be it was mad entertaining, man.
Who doing the cross? And if it was Nicole Westmoreland or Brian Steele, you made sure you got a seat in the courtroom, man.
Yeah. Well, I remember seeing Nicole Westmoreland. Well, we saw a lot in the cafeteria. You saw a lot as well. But I remember telling her one time, I feel like the character Annalise Keating from How to Get Away with Murder. I said, I think that character is based off of you.
And she's a little girl. Nicole Westmoreland.
Yeah, she's small. Yeah.
4'11", 5 feet tall. Maybe.
5 feet tall. Yeah, she's small.
Nice as she want to be, man.
Yo. Oh man.
Teddy Garagos was another bad motherfucker too. Tenny bad too.
Oh, Tenny was dope. And Tenny was pregnant the whole trial.
Tenny was wearing them goddamn high heel shoes about that. She already like 5, she was like 6'1". And she'd be at the goddamn, she'd be in the courtroom, putting her hair up in the front, asking questions at the same time. And Maureen called me, oh man, them lawyers bad, man. There was no weak links. Was there any weak links on Puffy's team, man?
There was no weak links. Even the young kid. What's the young kid that was
Jason
with all of the Jason Driscoll? Oh man, even that kid was a whiz, bro.
Jason Driscoll went toe-to-toe with Maureen
and
Submarine.
Exactly.
That shit was that shit was entertaining, man. I had fun, man.
Yeah, man. I think for before we hop off, the people who weren't at the trial, just to kind of explain it to you guys a little, like it looks bigger on TV and it looks bigger on our videos, but all this space is like it's close quarters. You know what I'm saying? Like where Sean G would do his lives, he would go on the other side of the courtroom, all the way on the other side, because not a lot of people go there. People
I went across the street up to Foley Square.
Went across, all the way up to Foley Square. So it was that part. I get it. If you watch Sean G's lives, it looked like a bigger, but you could still see the courtroom. Where everybody else used to do their lives, where the mainstream media was, and where the lawyers were walking. Where the witnesses would go in, where Puff's family, where everybody, it was all just in one like little circle. It's so close. You see everybody.
Jay, how many social media, Instagrammers, TikTokers, and YouTubers you think were out there in that little area you're talking about on a daily basis, man?
Dozens, more than 20, more than 30, actually.
It
was dozens.
We dictated the fucking YouTubers, the TikTokers. We dictated that trial. Mainstream media was across the street. That they didn't have
intense.
A chance.
Yeah, right. They were across the street intense, but across the street where we were on the side where the courthouse was, it was dozens of YouTubers, TikTokers. Like I can't even. I collected dozens and dozens of contacts. Like it was crazy.
And Jay, some of them didn't even go in the courtroom. They got there 8:30, went live,
all day.
Live all day. It was and the beat reporters for CNN, ABC, CBS, Fox News, they were accustomed to doing reporting like they've been doing it for the last 5 years. But the YouTubers, we was goddamn going live immediately, telling we was coming out. This would happen now, and they didn't have a chance. We impacted that trial, man.
Oh, 100%. I agree with that. 100%. I agree on that. Yeah, 100%. And I think we also set the precedent for moving forward.
Ain't no question.
A lot of these trials are going to be covered moving forward.
And don't be surprised if some of those networks call you or call me and say, yo, we want y'all to cover this. We want y'all to cover that, because we impacted that trial, man. We impacted that trial. And even Tisa tells, even though she was on the other side of my position, her work ethic and her constant posting, she drew a lot of eyeballs to the trial from what she was doing, you know, whether they agree with her or not. But then once the goddamn shit started coming out that Puffy might beat it and he wasn't, this was a lot of them started shifting. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, a lot of them. Even my little old YouTube channel that I started when I was at the trial, a lot of people said, "Oh, I came here and I unsubscribed to TT because you're actually telling the truth," and she had to stay with the lies because she didn't want people. Because you have to think, right? When you just like hate is way stronger than love. You know what I'm saying? And so when you just hate somebody or hate something or hate you want to hear bad things about the person. You want to hear that this guy is buried. And so there was a certain pressure that TT had, which was I got to keep giving the people what they want, even though it's not true.
I think she was paid because she had a security guard with her every day of the trial, and a security guard in New York City is going to run you what, $75 an hour, $100 an hour, and she was down there what, 8 hours every day.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then she was doing special appearances on this channel and that channel. So I think she was compensated. She was linked up with a major network, I believe.
Yeah, and then at that point, you got to sell your soul. You got to run with the narrative. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That you already started with. And the whole reason why these people will give you the money is because they want you to continue to say what you're gonna say. And I remember I was watching TMZ and they brought a few TikTok TikTok personalities on to talk about the trial, which was hilarious because they weren't even at the trial, but they brought them on. And what Harvey Levin said was, "Hey, the Johnny Depp trial was all influenced by TikTokers." You know what I'm saying? So like the new media is a little bit different. It's digested differently. The other people are realizing that you don't have to go with those traditional routes if you want to cover this stuff. But also the audiences are also realizing, yo, these guys are independent. They don't have to really say what these guys are gonna make them say. They can say whatever the hell they want.
I disconnected my cable and gave my goddamn cable box back to Verizon. I don't even turn this TV on. I don't even, you know, the TV got a goddamn line going through it. And I'm like, I might as well throw this shit out. I don't even watch the TV, man. You know,
one of the stats that C gave me the other day on our channel, and it's probably the same with your channel, you'll probably be able to tell me, is that 50, I think it's more than 50% of our subscribers watch our channel on their TV. They watch YouTube on TV.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So that's like the new thing that people are doing. I mean, put a 1 in the chat if you're on here and you watch YouTube on your actual TV. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
On the computer and on the phone is not as popular nowadays.
No. They send me videos. They be sitting in the living room and my shit be on big goddamn LED TVs in the living room. I'll be like, yo, y'all niggas is crazy. But that's what they're into, man. Did you see that interview?
100%.
Did you see that interview that Mark Garagos?
We got a lot of ones in the chat.
Did you see that interview that Mark Garagos did with Harvey Levin and Alexandra Shapiro? And Harvey Levin,
I didn't.
It's on YouTube. And Harvey Levin said, we did a poll and 80% of our viewers said that they believed that Puff was guilty. And Alexandra Shapiro says, I don't know what poll you looking at, but we have people that were at the trial, and I think she was talking about me. If you listen to it, she says we have YouTubers that were at the trial that were not anti-Puff, that were pro-Puff. And I remember seeing Alexandra Shapiro in the hallway on the 24th floor, and she says she didn't know my name unless she knew it from the thumbnail, but she says, I watch your videos. She says, we watch your videos. And that's where I said, oh shit, these motherfuckers is watching my videos.
Yo, Bro, the first short that we ever posted was when I bucked up with the Puffs team. Like the whole team was having a meeting.
I
And I
saw that.
just so happened, I got lucky. I so happened to roll up on them. But you know me, I try to make myself known. So I said, hey, yo, hey, I said, the only thing you guys are doing a great job. The only thing you're missing is somebody like me. Because I'm the typical jury. I'm the way the
You're
juror thinks
supposed
and
to
stuff.
say
And
that.
you need me. And Mark Agnifilo, he made a smart ass comment, but I think he also there was some truth to it. He said, you know, we were just talking about the only thing that we were missing is you. We were just talking about that. But I feel like they knew that we were representing the people. We didn't have an agenda. We went to the trial and we just said, look, we're just gonna this is what's going on. We're just gonna say what's going on. I didn't go there pro Puff or against Puff. I just went there just saying, hey, I want to see what's going on.
I went there pro Puff. I went there pro Puff, but I was waiting to hear the bullshit. I was
Mm,
waiting to hear because I was gonna report it. I was gonna
right.
report the nonsense and get the views. And I think we all were sitting there every day, like, well, when is it gonna? Cassie didn't say it, so it's got to be the next witness. They didn't say, where is the shit y'all been saying about this? It never came, Jay.
Yep.
It never came.
One of the crazy things that I got to witness through all
Nina
of
Michelle, what up?
one of the crazy things I got to witness through all of this before the trial even started. I remember hearing Jay saying something about, because he says it in his coaching sessions with the clients too. He says something about like trying to fit a square peg in a round hole. And we started hearing everybody on all different platforms and
I'm
news
telling y'all,
channels and everything.
I was the first person to say that.
And
Somebody
people
watching
started
my
saying
shit.
that.
I started saying that you're trying this whole thing is trying to fit a square peg in a round circle. I was maybe somebody else said it because it's so obvious that that's what was going
Nah, it
on.
was
But
you.
I
It was you. Own it, nigga.
yeah yeah
Don't back up off it.
I was the
And then
first
everybody else
I was
started
the
saying
first
it.
person I heard. And everybody else started saying, "Oh, this, this is like trying to fit a square peg in a round hole." I said, I got it from a Nas song way back, when he King's Disease one, his album King's Disease one. I think it was around 2019 when Kobe passed. He said, don't try to fit a square peg in a round circle. That shit'll hurt you. And it stuck in my mind because I I stopped trying to adjust things for my clients and repaint them. I was like, nah, if you ain't it, you ain't it. So, and same with my team members, same with my relationships, stuff like that. So I just started saying it, and bro, that shit caught fire. I'm telling you, I was the one. I was the first
Listen,
person I heard say it.
listen, nigga. I said some shit. I went up to the thing and went live, and I don't have 1,000% definitive proof, but I went live on some research I had done. I had come home and done, and I went live and mentioned it. And man, if not the next motherfucking day in court, Puffy's defense team goddamn said something similar, man. I said, yo, and people were saying that. They was in my DM like, yo, Sean, you was talking about that yesterday. Yeah.
Mhm. Bro, they had their team of lawyers, but remember, there was also like two or three law firms all together that were working together. Because Brian Steele has his own law firm, Mark Agnifilo has his own law firm, and I know that Nicole Westmoreland came from another law firm out in Georgia. I don't know if she's in the same law firm as she works with Brian Steele or not. But my point is that there were multiple law firms, so they also have multiple researchers that are going online, seeing what the
And
yeah.
they probably have one to say, y'all motherfuckers watch YouTube and and
Exactly.
and send us an email every morning.
Exactly. No, 100%.
Puffy gonna pay
100%,
for it.
man. Yeah, 100%, man. But yo, man, we started this live. If you guys just joined us, we started this live by talking about we do in a sense to kind of miss the trial. It was like school. You know when you're in school all over again and you got like some kids over here and some kids over there, and these kids don't like those kids, but then these are the popular kids, but then these are the athletes, but then these are the, you know what I'm saying? It was fun. Everybody was in such close quarters. You're in the court, you're in the cafeteria with you're saying Sean G's here, Jay's here, Puff's mother is here. Puff's son is over there, and then
All
Nicole
three of them,
Westmoreland
all
is
three
over
of the sons
here.
are there. His
All
sister's
three of the
here.
sons are there. Yeah, you
Brian
could touch
Steele just
people.
walked through.
Yeah,
There's
Brian
Teddy
Steele just
Gilgos.
walked
There's
through.
Alexander Shapiro.
Exactly.
That shit was
Yeah,
crazy, man.
it was crazy. Then you
That
got
shit
the
was
mainstream
crazy.
media reporters coming in, and everybody just all next to each other. You know what I'm saying?
And one,
So
and one thing I know, Jay, man, 10 years from now or whatever, when they talk about this trial, if a motherfucker really, if a network or anybody really want to hear what's the truth, and they want to put aside how they may feel about me personally or my style or whatever, but if they decide, say, look, we don't like this nigga Sean G, fuck him, but we know for a fact this nigga was there every day and we saw his note. If we're gonna do this documentary the right way, we gotta get Sean G. I know I was in the center of this bitch.
100%.
I was in the center.
100%. Yeah, I was talking to a couple other content creators, and I was talking about the same exact thing. And they said, man, Bravo missed an opportunity because Bravo should have had a crew just for the content creators. Just Bravo should have had a crew and made a reality show just out of the content creators. Because there was some crazy drama outside the courtroom. You had
But
content creators trying to fight each other. You had
remember CNN? CNN did a, like in the week number 6 or 7, they did an expose on us out there. Did you see that?
I did see that. Yeah, I did see that. I did see
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was a lot of arguments, damn near fisticuffs. The you know, it was ghetto. You know, you had
It's New
YouTubers.
York too.
It was, Brooklyn is right across the bridge. You got Harlem uptown, Jersey. Everybody just converging just for the views. No
Right.
respect, and it got heated down there, man. It was interesting.
It was crazy. It was crazy. You had some people trying to go viral, just trying to start stuff.
Right,
And then
right.
yeah, it was crazy. I remember that the way I knew that you were really blowing up. This was maybe the 3rd or 4th week of the trial. And you and I I was walking with you remember V? She was recording me a lot around the trial. The white lady.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. So so we were all walking down by the subway at World Trade. And we were just walking, and some guy comes up to you and say, "Yo, Sean G," and you say, "Yeah, what's up?" And you said, "I saw you on Academics." I said, "Boy," I said, "Yo, this man is getting the recognition that he deserves because you were speaking the truth from the start, and
Listen,
it just kept growing from there."
academics put me over the top, and I'm forever grateful for academics for doing what he did for me. That nigga would take my live. He would wait for me to go live. As soon as I went live, his subscribers would tell him, "Yo, Sean G live." He would take my live. He go live on his bigger page and put my shit in there. And the first day he did it, I got $1,200 in super chats.
Wow.
And I picked up like 4,000 subscribers in that one day. And he started doing it
Yeah,
every
because he has
day.
a massive platform, man. Yeah, he has his cousin, I don't remember, I think it's Famer too. His cousin, I did a few interviews with him, and the same type of thing was happening. So he doesn't
He
have
helped,
as big of a platform, but yeah, 100%, man.
he helped me. He helped me big deal. Then me and Lauren went on his actual show at his studio. And
Mhm.
yeah, man, I picked up like 40,000 subscribers from the trial alone, from the time I started
Right.
to when it ended.
And that's encouragement for anybody out there that's doing anything, whether you're doing YouTube or anything. Like, if you keep, because I remember you saying, and I actually I brought this up this morning in my morning live. And shout out to everybody. I do a 7:30 a.m. live Monday to Thursday, so it won't be tomorrow, but we'll be back on Monday. And I mentioned you. I said, "Yo, you got to keep going," because a man like Sean G told me. I remember that there was 5 views. I was making videos, 0 views, 5 views, 10 views, 20 views. And I just kept with it, and I kept going, because this morning's live was all about failure, and you got to keep going. You don't let the people decide when you fail. You decide. You know what I'm saying? And you got to keep going, and you can't give up at the lowest. You got to. My cousin always just said. I said to my cousin one time. I said, "Cause I'm going through hell," and then she said, "Keep going. Why would you stop in hell?" Like, you know what I'm saying? Keep going. Why would you stop in hell? So if you're at the lowest, keep going. Sean G is a testament to it. I'm a testament to it.
And a lot of my subscribers told me the first week I went down there, when I went to the jury selection, my subscribers were coming in my comments saying, "Yo, Sean, leave that puffy trial alone, man. Just stick to your calisthenics, man. Leave that shit alone." And I'm like, no, man, no. And I went, but a lot of them were telling me, you can't listen to nobody. You got to live your life. And if I would have been influenced by my own followers, I would have missed out on a hell of an opportunity. Like I said, I got my biggest YouTube check that I ever got, picked up 40,000 subscribers, met motherfuckers like you and other people around the world. And I was in the center of probably the biggest trial ever in New York City. Watched the federal feds lose, right, to a foundational Black American male who is usually typically the one who gets fucked around in federal court. He beats them at trial. They have 6 prosecutors. He has 11 lawyers. And the whole world sees this. And I was there and I saw the whole thing. I mean, you could write a book about this thing, do an audio book.
Been told that. Yeah.
I could do an audio book. I could do it. A dude came down there and approached me on the 24th floor. He said, "Sean, I want to do a documentary on this trial, but I want it to be about you and your company." And we were going to put something together, but I decided against it because I want to be able to control my content.
That creative control, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you never know what may happen in the next couple months. You know what I'm saying? But I know I was there. I was there.
100%. Yo, those notes are so valuable. I got books and books of notes. I know you do as well. And actually, I was told by a lady that was at the trial, like, "Oh, you got to write a book." But she also, before she told me that, she warned me. She said people were stealing notes. I don't know if you know that, but I left my notebook like there a few times to go use a restroom or to go and get some water or something like that.
I
And
did
she
too.
said, she called me. Yeah, she called me aside. She said, "Hey, take your book with you. People be stealing notes in here." So,
I was
yeah,
there.
man, that's how valuable that is. That's how valuable that is. And, I think we also owed it to the people. And, in a trial like that, not everybody has the luxury where they can take some time off of work or away from work, or where that is their job to cover something like that. Or I know a lot of people came from outside of New York, from LA, from Atlanta, from Detroit,
Philly.
from
People were
from
coming
Philly. Like,
from Pennsylvania every day coming.
some people came in from South Africa. I saw a few people from South Africa covering, from Germany covering it. So a lot of people came from all around the world, and I felt like it was also my duty to cover the trial, because I could have just came for a week and then say, you know what, forget it. But I felt it was my duty to cover the trial, because I felt like most people weren't covering it right, and I felt it was like my duty to just get back home, read my notes, go through my live and share and shed the light on what's going on. I remember the thing that encouraged me the most was I had a live scheduled after the trial, and my boy hit me and he said, "Yo, the world is waiting for you." So like that just made me feel like I gotta be on this live. I gotta make sure I deliver the news. And I'm sure you had the same feeling when you stepped out of that courtroom. You knew that people were waiting to hear what went on inside.
Listen, they was telling me when I would go live. They were saying, "Sean, we waiting for you. We waiting for you. We ain't watching." Man, so many people started coming and fucking sitting in front of me on the rock, Jay, where I interviewed you, from Georgia, Albany, Georgia, Jacksonville, Florida, and sitting there and watch me report. And after that, I would be like, you came to New York to visit or what? It's no, man. We came to see you. People would drive by because they as soon as I would go live. And I said, this is crazy, man. This is
man.
But it was that
100%.
deep, man.
And you were smart. You were smart to go live with the same background in the same place every day because people knew you were there and they also knew what to expect and they were also looking forward to it. It was very smart because a lot of other people didn't do the same thing.
I wanted to be away from everybody. I didn't want to go live down there where all of the nonsense was going on. I said, I'm separating myself from these niggas and I'm going up here. And then when I saw them courtrooms in the back with them big pillars, I said, yo, that's the perfect thumbnail.
The perfect spot.
That's the perfect thumbnail. And that's when I started going live up there, man. And changed the game for me, man. But I think you was the first interview I did, even before I did Sylvia and LT Lounge, when you had your shoulder bag on. You had that burgundy shirt on.
Oh, yeah, we used that for the thumbnail. We used that for the thumbnail of this video.
Right. Yeah. And when I cut that video up into shorts, that one of them shorts went up that I did with you went up to like 9,000 views. And I think that's when your channel started to pop.
Right.
And you know what I'm saying? It was good, man.
Yeah, 100%, man. I can't even tell you how many people hit us in the chat, say, yo, I'm here from Sean G's page. Like a lot of people. There was a lot of people. After that, I said, yo, see how I go live when I go home? I decompress. Now it's a necessity because I'm not going live the same time as Sean G.
Yeah.
I remember my mother used to tell me, hey, Jay, you got to know your place and know your time in this life.
Yeah.
I said, I ain't going live when Sean G goes live, man. A lot of our viewers, they come from his channel. When he's done, then they go on to our channel. So we got to make sure that we're coordinating correctly.
4,000 people in my shit. I've never had that before. This was after academics showed me the love he showed me. I would have that shit was crazy, man. I would get off my live, it'd be 10,000 views. As soon as I hit this end button, I was like, oh.
Yeah, 100%, man. 100%.
Yo, Jay, let me get up out of here, man.
Yeah, I'm about to shut this thing down, man. It's already dark. It's already 20 to 9, but I appreciate you coming on, Big Sean.
We killed it.
Yeah, see. Put a 1 or 7 in this live chat right now if you enjoyed the live. See, come and say goodbye to the people, my man. We up out of here.
See, thank you, man.
It's my pleasure, Sean G. We're always great to have you. We're always
likewise, man.
Yeah,
thanks
man. Producer extraordinaire. All right, y'all. Go and be great. I'll see y'all on Monday. Unless something crazy happens, I'll be on live in between that. What's up?
Sentencing? You going for the sentencing?
Yeah, on the 3rd. Yeah, I'll be there.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I'll be there. Well, I'm gonna shoot you a message.
That's gonna be a fucking madhouse, man. That's gonna be.
It's gonna be a madhouse for real.
They're probably gonna have 3 overflows, 3 or 4 overflows that day. I
think so. Yeah, I think so, man. I think so because also, if you're coming for sentencing, you only got to come for the 1 day, right? So a lot of people are going to be coming from out of town. They could take that 1 day, just for the hell of it. So if y'all are on here and you guys are supporting, just we should do like a meet and greet or something that day, right after, man. But yeah, I appreciate. Yeah, I appreciate all the 1s and 7s in the chat. You guys enjoy the live. That's what we're here for. We deliver.
Podcast.
All right, y'all. Go and be great. Go follow Podcast with Soul, Conversations with Jay. I'll see y'all next week.
Peace.
All right, peace.